The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Welcome everyone to the webinar and thanks for joining. We'll kick the presentation off shortly, but first some housekeeping items. All lines are on mute to ensure no accidental disruptions. Also, we do encourage you to ask any questions you may have by submitting them in the question box. At the end of the presentation, we'll address as many as we can. If we do not get to yours, we'll follow up with you directly. So let's get things started. I'll hand it off to our presenter, Jonathan Bennett. Jonathan?
Good morning or good afternoon to everyone, depending on where you are joining us from. My name is Jonathan Bennett with 5i Solutions, and I thank you for joining us today. In this short webinar, approximately 15 minutes long, we will be discussing how going digital isn't exclusive to large municipalities and that there are affordable and secure options to smaller municipalities as well. We will provide some steps on how you can get started, and as my colleague told you, if you had questions along the way, feel free to pop them in the question box. Let me give you a little background on 5i Solutions. We are in our 27th year as an organization. During that time, we have always been in the document management space. We started in the litigation industry. Anyone that remembers Enron in the early 2000s, well, this was the first time a case was litigated utilizing electronic discovery or electronic document management software. One of the software products we provide our customers was utilized in that case. It allowed hundreds of lawyers to access the case documents from all over the world. And although it wasn't referred to as the cloud back then, a cloud document management solution was what it was. And this is something that has always been a backbone of what we provide. Now, Enron was a large organization that employed thousands of people. This is not at all typical of our customer base today. We operate in three main regulated sectors: human resources, financial services, and municipal government. One of our newest clients is the town of Orchid. As you can see, they are a town of under 500 people. It's actually 426, and they're very proud of that fact. When we first met them, they were concerned with how long it was taking them to respond to their constituents' requests for information. Locating records efficiently was a challenge. They also had some concerns as a coastal town that was prone to hurricanes of a potential disaster. Every town record was paper. They had big concerns on being able to replace it all if the unthinkable happened. Guardians or custodians of a town, city, or village that has been around for, let's say, 50 plus years, traditionally have filing cabinets full of paper records, and those cabinets are growing. There are probably some electronic records too. However, neither situation is as organized and secure as one would like it to be. And when is there not room for improvement? However, very few have been able to deal with the paper backlog. In today's webinar, we have boiled this down into two main problems. Problem one: when information is requested by constituents, it takes time to locate what has been requested. Timing yourself to see how long certain tasks take is an interesting exercise and gives you some perspective about how much time you spend a day doing a task. The older the information normally collates with the longer it takes to find something. What happens if previous record keepers weren't as diligent in their filing? This increases the chances of older information being misfiled. It's not unheard of. And well, where do you start then? Problem two: one copy of anything that is important is always going to be hard to replace. If you had a photocopy or a saved image of your passport, replacing it becomes easier. It has a unique number that you can provide the federal government, and in that scenario, they are essentially your backup copy. What if that one record or place where records are stored becomes unreachable, lost, destroyed in a fire, storm, or something less dramatic, a burst pipe perhaps? What's the contingency? How would you replace something there is only one copy of? What if it was something serious, like our friends in the town of Orchid who are susceptible to hurricanes? Was the town's disaster plan and emergency contact information in the filing cabinet that was just destroyed? Now what? On a personal level, we have insurance. Replacing our things is a hassle, but the insurance company writes us a check and we get started. As a custodian of a town or city with 50 plus years of history, that town is probably the birthplace of entire generations of family trees. How do you replace that? Everything costs. So where do you start? Paper records cost money to store. Inefficiency and time to search has a cost. Hiring a company to solve it costs. Well, constituents have a level of expectation that it's done. If we polled residents, their expectation would be everything is already backed up. Government mandates a retention schedule that doesn't have to only be paper. Other than mandates, constituents demand transparency and easy access to public records. Now, I said earlier the importance of a scalable solution. So what do the larger cities do? For a start, new information and records are created and stored electronically with a digital backup on day one. As much information as they can is provided to their constituents electronically through their website or a public portal. Things like retention schedules are set automatically when new information is created. Their disaster recovery is cloud-based and it is stored in a secondary location. And depending on the state, the backup is kept far away from the originals. I know what you're thinking. Larger city has more tax revenue. How does that help a smaller municipality? Take Bloomington, Indiana, on the left. They have one employee for every 165 of the total 82,500 constituents they serve. But our friends at the town of Orchid on the right, with only 2 employees, serve 213 constituents per employee. So everything is relatable with a scalable solution. This isn't something that happens overnight, so we shouldn't expect it to. However, a plan to start somewhere is vital. It's essential. So let's start with the elephant in the room, budget. Each municipality has an expected or forecasted tax revenue each year. How much of it can we spare for critical projects? How can more be found? Not having a large IT or procurement department that handles infrastructure or complicated RFPs shouldn't be a hindrance. However, justification for spending has to be made. Do you remember earlier when I said an interesting exercise would be to time yourself when you are searching for a record? Well, you could create something similar to this for yourself, but for searching. For example, if you have an organization that needs to file, say, 100 documents a day, PricewaterhouseCoopers research firm shows that it takes 6 minutes on average to file a document. The U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics shows the average burden labor rate for the U.S. is $33.11. Now, that's burden rate. That's not just salary. That's insurance, taxes, everything included. I rounded it to 30 for easy math. That breaks down to 50 cents per minute. That times 6 minutes per document gives us a document filing cost of $3, or a daily filing cost of $300, or a monthly filing cost of $6,600. That's based on a 22-day working month. Now, even if a team is super fast and can file in half the time and has a labor rate a third lower than the national average, we're still talking real money. And because these are soft costs that no one writes a physical check for or don't appear as a line item on financial statements, these sorts of non-tangible costs aren't realized. They are there. What could your municipality do with an extra $6,600 or $2,200 a month? What kind of budget is there? Does setting up a pay-as-you-need-it scenario help? We have acknowledged it can't be done all at once. So start day forward, get a digital process established, then take a look back at the filing cabinet. Maybe just digitize the last few months. Wait, then do another. Or focus on the record type that you spend the most time looking for or your constituents are requesting. All the bells and whistles that a large municipality has aren't needed. The need is a secure place to efficiently search and retrieve records with a retention schedule that can be managed automatically. A lot of large municipalities have gone to the cloud already. Microsoft Office 365 is a cloud platform. Think of the cloud as a rented infrastructure, with the difference being you only pay for what you use. When you purchase something, you own it, whether you use it to its maximum potential or not. Scalable solution, and start small. So take a deep breath and a deeper look. What are your really critical documents? When and how often do you send them back and forth to other departments, employees, or maybe it's just you? What approvals do you need? What are your record retention policies? What's the most important thing or things based on your review? Prioritize the document process by function and critical needs. Maybe it's meeting agendas or resolutions, tax records, something else. Every small municipality has similar challenges. However, there is also a lot of uniqueness for each city or town to what that is. But as the custodian, you know best. Write or sketch the process down with each step for all your important mission-critical documents. Now, for attending this webinar today, we're going to send you a link for a free white paper we've put together based on our experience working with municipalities. It gives some more in-depth ideas on how to get started, and it's good content to reference back to or provide others in the decision-making process on what to do next. If you thought the information was useful today, we will also make the PowerPoint available as a PDF, so you'll be able to reference back. We will also provide a link for the video of today, so if there was anything you missed or would like to reference back to, you can. Next steps. Well, our government specialists are experienced in providing cost-effective, scalable solutions for a single department or entire municipality, and we'd love to hear from you and discuss your unique challenges and specific needs. Thank you for joining me, Jonathan Bennett, today. I hope the information was helpful.
Now for the Q&A. I do have a couple questions here for you, Jonathan. There is a committee in my township that would make the decision. Is there material that you have that could explain it to non-computer people?
Yeah, absolutely. The white paper that we'll send out afterwards is written for exactly that. So hopefully that will be good content for you. If there's something specific, we can of course work with you to get more information. But yeah, absolutely.
How much does the solution cost?
Well, cost is going to vary depending on individual municipality need. However, we can start with a template of what a document management system looks like based on our experience for municipal government. Hopefully, though, by referencing the town of Orchid, a community of only 426 people, you'll understand the solution is scalable for any city size.
Another question, do you have retention schedules for every state built into the solution?
For some states, yep, we already have those built in. We don't have them for all 50. However, we can definitely work with you to configure the additional states if it's not one that you're located in.
That looks like it's it, Jonathan.
All right. Again, thank you everybody for joining us. We'll be sending out that content as discussed, and thanks for joining.